sure you like and subscribe this channel. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram. This underscore is Rose with two E's, and also my TikTok, which is Rose with two E's underscore the goddess. Make sure you tap in because I am changing a lot of things. I am discovering a lot of things, and the reason I'm changing so much is because I'm discovering certain parts of me that I did not know was there. So as I change, my platform changes as well. So with that being said, I wanted to talk about something today that has just very much been starting to bring awareness into society and into myself. I didn't realize until last night after I watched the documentary Aftershock on Hulu. Make sure y'all check that out. It was a good documentary on the Black maternal mortality rate that's rising and increasing every year. In the United States. So I wanted to bring awareness to this because this is really an issue, and it really struck home for me for the simple fact that I had a miscarriage and my experience with that, and also my own birthing experience in the hospital, how it was just very the opposite of love. I didn't feel nourished. I didn't feel anything, and this could happen to any of us. And I feel like with the black male mental health is an issue because men, ever since the pandemic in 2020, that has risen 4 times. Black males are more likely, or 4 times likely, to commit suicide than any other race, and within their own race of people, with between black women and black men. um they're more 4 times likely to kill themselves. And for women, the United States is they have a high mortality rate amongst black women, and it is increasing. So it really is an issue. It's an issue, and I feel like it needs to be more goddesses speaking out about this. It needs to be more doulas and midwives speaking up about this. And with that being said, I want to read something to y'all because after I watched the documentary, um, after I watched the documentary on Aftershock and the black maternal mortality rate, I didn't realize how many black men was literally suffering from this, and it was very heartfelt documentary, and it gave me a different perspective. And I love that documentary for the simple fact that it showed brotherhood in a different sense in our community. As for, it's time to start relying and supporting. I ain't even gonna say relying, but it's time for us to start supporting each other at all times instead of when we lose the mother of our child. It's time for us to start showing brotherhood in a different way, and it's time for us to start showing sisterhood in a different way, and really supporting and really being there for each other, and not just when death comes, but when life is here. So I want to read something to y'all because I did my own digging, and I came across this guy. Um, it's embarrassing to have this last name, honestly. So I came across this article, and I kept hearing about, I think it was mentioned in the documentary, the father of modern gynecology. His name is J. Marion Sims. I hate that. I really do, because my last name is Sims. So it's a disgrace. I don't like that that's my last name. I'm so ready to change it. Um, he experimented on slaves. And it's crazy to even when I read into this, because it says in the 1840s, Dr. James Marion Sims perfected his surgical skills by operating on enslaved black women without anesthesia. And let me just say, that first line struck something into me, because even when I was going through my C-section and I got anesthesia and I got, epidural, all of that extra stuff, even that was still painful, for the simple fact that when you get your C-section and they're still cutting you, you can still feel the tugging sensation, and it's very uncomfortable. It's very it still hurts. It's just something that I would not recommend a woman or a woman to get. And even in my experience, it was just very, everything about a hospital, everything about a hospital does not sit right with you. And I'm going to say you as in me for the simple fact that when you go into a hospital, something inside of you automatically, feels discomfort. You feel like you don't belong there. And that's why I'm an advocate for telling women that it's time to start having doulas. It's time to start having midwives and having births in your homes where it started in the first place. This is where OBGYN started. Okay, this, at first we were doing this at homes. We were doing this without the doctors. We was doing this without the medication. We was doing this without any of their help. So the fact that we rely so much on doctors, we rely so much on this modern medicine, it really irritates my soul. It really makes me want to just go crazy. Like, I don't like going to the hospital. I don't like going to the doctor. I try every way holistically possible to do things before I even have to step foot in there. And guys, and to be honest, it wasn't until the 1930s, 40s where we could even go to the hospital. So, and it ain't even been a century for that. It ain't even been a century, y'all. So, moving on. I'm going to just end it with that part. And let me just go into this article, because it's crazy now that you think about it. We weren't even allowed to go into the hospital because we were black. We weren't even allowed to get treatment. But now we weren't allowed to get treatment. But because things like this, like people like this became a father to some BS, now we can go to the hospital because they can make money off of it. They can get things that they need from us to do their research. And even with what's her name? The lady they were taking her blood without her permission. It started with an H. I want to say it's Hernita, her something Lax. Hold on, let me pay my respects. Let me hold on, let me look her up right quick to get her name. Henrietta, I'm sorry. I had to pay my homage, but Henrietta Lacks. Go read up on that story. That'll blow your mind too. They were sitting here taking blood and without her consent and testing it, and now they're still using her cells, her blood cells and all of that to cure diseases and things like that. Who told y'all could do that? Who told y'all could do that? So with that being said, let's go back to it, family. It say in 1840s and 50s, James Marion Sims successfully performed the first surgery to correct the condition that had long ostracized women after birth. Then he invented a tool. Oh yeah, let me tell you about the tool, the speculum. The speculum, that tool that you go into the OBGYN and they open you up. They see all your sacredness. Yeah, he invented that. But I'm going to tell you the messed up part about that. Family. So let's get into it. So he went to medical school in Philadelphia. And he settled in Alabama to practice medicine in 1835, right? So this the part that got me. This the part that got me the way I feel. Sims reportedly had little interest in the diseases of women. How you have little interest in the diseases of women, but yet you're studying and investigating on women? Moving along, he once wrote, "If there is anything I hated, it was investigating the organs of the female pelvis." You hated it so much that you created something to investigate. That should tell y'all automatically that they don't give a fuck about us, that they don't care about us. We should stop trying to spend our insurance money and or spend time into the hospitals and the OBGYNs. I wouldn't trust them with nothing. Because even when you go back into the history, plantations, they had their that midwife. They had that doula. They didn't have none of this. They ain't have none of it. And even when you think about the afterbirth, y'all, there's so many things that could help us. You could do like women, ladies, women, women. Do not sleep on raspberry leaf tea. That helps strengthens and tones your uterus and your womb. Okay? Drink you some of that. Drink you some and watch the recovery. Watch the recovery. Watch how fast you recover. Watch how fast you give birth and watch how fast you recover with raspberry leaf tea. And okay, let's go to it. First slave. In 1845, a slave owner called on Sims to help his 18-year-old slave named Anarcha, and who had been suffering through 72 hours of labor. He could have just simply gave her some raspberry leaf tea 3 times a day. Induce that labor. Okay? Sims successfully delivered the newborn only to discover that the hard labor had left Anarcha with a condition called vesico-vaginal fistula, were common in women who had difficult labors and were holes that formed between a woman's vagina and bladder that resulted in incontinence and embarrassing and often isolating conditions. They had like an odor, it's an odor that would happen with that condition. So at this time, it was once considered impossible to cure. This man performed 30 experimental operations on her just to cure her condition. And might I add, this is without anesthesia, without pain medicine, this is open operation without any drugs. And you performing this on her 30 times. 30. I want you 30. Imagine getting cut up 30 times in your womb space. Even just after having one C-section, that surgery was all I needed to know that my next children are going to happen vaginal. Okay? If they want to call it a VBAC, they can call it that, but I'm just letting you know, vaginal. I don't care what they talking about. I don't care about the risk. That I would never wish a C-section on any woman at all. None. And then to find out that 2 out of 3 pregnancy deaths are preventable. Yeah. 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 And so not only did Sims, because I've been kind of reading this, so I kind of know it, but he also was going around the plantations getting, asking plantation owners for slaves so that he can operate on them. And this man was the product of his era. So not only was he doing all these surgeries on all these black slaves, but he was also he opened up his first his first women's hospital in New York in 1855, y'all. And yeah, not that long ago, right? He opened up his first women's hospital, and he would have these slaves here, and he would have doctors who were literally paying him to watch him do and perform these surgeries on us without anesthesia. So just imagine all the hollering, all the screaming, all the pain that our sisters are feeling. Just imagine that. That's why when us women, we go to hospitals and we automatically feel like we don't belong there and we don't want to be there, y'all. It's trauma. trauma. Your cells have membranes, which your cells have memories. So we have our ancestors who have been through this. So it's no brainer that we feel everything that we feel when we go to hospitals, y'all. Your cell memory is real. Cells have membrane just like you. We are made up of cells, 150 trillion cells to be exact. So just imagine everything, all the ancestors we done had. What else was it? What else was it? And this is the picture. Look, listen, look. This is a picture of the doctors that came to see him perform the surgeries. Uh-oh. This is what's out here, y'all. What else was it? Oh, let me show you the tool they used. And this ain't even, y'all, this ain't even the kicker out of all of this. This ain't even the kicker. Look at this. That's the first speculum. Now, this ain't even the kicker out of all of this shit, y'all. And this, oh, and might I add, that was made out of bent spoons. Bent spoons. Right? So, not only was this man doing this to black slaves, oh, and let me just add, he said he never gave black women anesthesia because he felt like our pain tolerance was way higher than white women. So he always gave the white people or the white women anesthesia, but he never gave us any. He said we have a high pain tolerance. Here's the kicker. This man, not only was he doing this to us, but he was doing this to children. And not only was he doing it to children, but when he did it to children, it actually broke their pelvis. It broke their pelvis, y'all. And it's so disrespectful because this man had a whole statue. It was apparently removed in 2018. It was removed in 2018, y'all. That was not long ago. So that's why I say I'm going on this rant or whatever you want to call it. That's why I say it's time for us women to really step into our power and really understand that we have full control, and we need to stop having this scared or this fearful mind that we need to go to these doctors and these OBGYNs to have a successful birth. Y'all, they are literally, hospitals are getting paid so much money to do C-sections. Y'all, C-sections only take about an hour to do. It literally only takes about an hour to do. So just imagine you have all these women in this hospital that needs to that are having childbirths, but they're doing C-sections, so they could just go ahead and cut you up, cut you up. That they're making more money. They're making more money. As for if you had a vaginal birth, it takes an average about 8 to 12 hours versus a C-section that only takes an hour. So just think about the room spaces, you know, and they're doing that because, you know, we're still having babies, y'all. So we lack the education of doulas and having to birth at home, that they're trying to take up. They're using this time and this space and the resources to birth these babies. They're removing us out of our natural element. Okay, they're speeding up the birthing process, even when it comes to inducing you. With even my own experience, they didn't even ask to induce me. I didn't even know I was being induced until they told me that my baby wasn't reacting to the medication that they gave me. And I'm like, well, when did y'all give me medication? When did I consent to that? And it's time to start taking control back of our womb. We have no control over our womb. We have no control of our body. We have no control of our thoughts because of the things that we're allowing into our space. We literally have no control over it. And it's time for us to start taking our control back. Let me read y'all something else. Hold on. Let me read y'all something else and then I'm going to end it. because I gotta go to all my platforms. I gotta go to all of it. Oh yeah, let me show you this. Let me show you that. You asked what that is, right? Oh, you asked that question? Okay. This was a picture showing that black women are 3 times more likely to have maternal deaths than any other race, y'all. Any other race. It say here the U.S. has the highest maternity mortality rate and is the only one where maternal mortality is increasing. It's increasing, y'all. Not only is black male suicide increasing, it's been increasing since 2020 because we was locked up in the homes, and a lot of people couldn't face themselves and their reality, so they started killing themselves. And then on top of that, we got black maternal mortality rate increasing. Y'all don't see what's going on. So that's why I'm making this video, this YouTube video, to bring enlightenment, or to bring in awareness of what's going on and why we need to tap into more women need to become more doulas. Let me show you something else. Look at say 2 out of 3 pregnancy-related deaths are preventable in the United States. Hold on, let me show you something else. Where was it? This is the amount of black people in the birthing workspace. We definitely look at that. It say U.S. birthing population, blacks 14%, OBGYNs 11%, nurse midwives 6.3%. It needs to be more doulas speaking out about this. It needs to be more women becoming doulas. It needs to be more people speaking up on this awareness, because the news aren't talking about it, and they're not going to talk about it, y'all. Because if you bring awareness to it, then we're going to wake up to what is going on. So pay attention and tap into yourself. We can all only do so much. We need y'all's help to pay attention to what is going on. Pay attention to what you feed in your body. Pay attention to what you're putting on your skin. Pay attention to what you're allowing when you're going into the hospitals and they're treating you a certain type of way. I just made a video the other day with this lady. She gonna comment on my video talking about some I was talking about hysterectomies, how black women what they're doing is they're attacking men with police brutality, but with women they are attacking us in the hospitals. They're giving us hysterectomies, unnecessary hysterectomies. They're killing us. When it comes to childbirth, they're attacking us in those ways. Y'all, we got to start tapping in and paying attention to what is going on in the world, in reality, because these things are happening. It's increasing. So we need your help. I can't make this up. And you can look up all this stuff, y'all. You can look up all this stuff. Help heal the culture. It's a movement, okay? Hashtag help heal the culture. It's a movement, okay? Tap into yourself. Tap into your sensuality so you can see what is going on. Tap into yourself. Tap into your goddess-like energy so you can see what is going on around you, okay? You can, once you tap into yourself, you see what is going on in your community so you can help better and change and make those necessary changes. We as women have so much power, and we got to start stepping into that and paying attention to it. We literally hold the key, and we're sitting here birthing these babies, and we're either dying or our babies are dying before they even get here. They didn't remove the man out the homes. We got to start paying attention to the things that are happening right in front of our fucking faces. I ain't even got nothing else to say. This is just crazy to me, and it's upsetting to me. But with that being said, family, make sure you tap in with me, because this movement is about to be something serious. Hashtag help heal the culture. It's a movement. It's a vibe. Definitely gonna start being more active with this stuff, because this is a real issue for me, And like I said, with my own birthing experience and my own miscarriage experience, this definitely hit home for me, and it needs to be, people need to be more aware of it. But with that being said, family, make sure you tap in with me. Make sure you, if you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, any topics or things that you want me to touch on relating to this topic, make sure you leave it in the comment section. Don't have anything else. No, I will be getting my doula certification pretty soon. So if you need information about that, make sure you tap in with me. With that being said, peace, love, light, and healing, family. Mwah.